Hi everyone, welcome to the Gardens and Graveyard channel. My name is Charisma and today we are meeting at the Odell Cemetery, or otherwise known as the Ebenezer Chapel Graveyard. And as you can see, the chapel behind me is completely abandoned and gutted out, and the windows and doors are missing. So the graveyard itself is in these woods, and it's just so enchanting. I can't wait to take a walk through here, but we're going to check out the Ebenezer Chapel first, and then we're going to take a walk through the woods and check out the headstones that are placed here in memory of the loved ones of this community at one time. All right, so here is the chapel, and you could see it has the chapel name there, and you can tell that someone has been maintaining it. There's remnants of ivy or some type of vine that has been growing on it in the past. So you could see all those like black marks that's left. Those are stains from the vine, and then there's still dead vine up in that space. I would imagine at one point in time these spaces had either programs or pictures of Christ, maybe Mary Magdalene, maybe the Last Supper, and then it's just a very simple and one room chapel here. You can see the old plank ceilings, and there's a storm door there. Imagine that's one half of one of these doors. Nope, I'm wrong. It looks like this might have had pocket doors. No, those are hinges. So I would imagine that this is one half of this double door that's missing we're standing in. You could see there's 6 windows on each side and a window above, where I assume that the pulpit would have been. And of course the fireplace there, really simple little room. The views looking at the farm nearby and the woods next door. Whenever I'm in spaces like this, especially worship houses, I just get so nostalgic, and I just like my heart is like bursting full of all the love and faith and hope that lived in these walls, and continues to breathe through these walls. It's just, it feels so incredibly sacred, even though there's no longer any active energy happening in these walls. I can just feel it. I feel it, and I wish I could give it even more love. It brings me to tears, these abandoned homes and historical sites. I wish I had like all the money in the world to just like restore them and just let the land and the space know that, and the ancestors that worshipped here know that I remember in my bones that people were here, and that they loved and they lived and they had dreams, and they had big dreams. Pioneers that came here to the Oregon coast, or to the Oregon Territory rather, I mean, they just had enormous dreams, and they left their whole life and everything that they knew and their whole family behind to come here to explore, to be adventurous, to make something incredible with their lives. It's just like mind-blowing how brave and courageous these souls were to have found this place, and they decided, this is where I'm going to live, this is where I'm establishing my community, this is where I'm raising my family, this is where we're raising a church and coming together in community to worship. It's just mind-blowing. It's just amazing. Anyway, let me get the camera turned around and show you what it looks like in the graveyard, because it's just so, so sweet. All these beautiful headstones among the trees. All right, just as reference, we were here in the chapel, and now we're gonna walk around this way. And we've got maybe a footstone here, not clear where the headstone might have been. I do love it. There must be people maintaining in some way, because there's actual paths, because it's very weedy over here with lots of spider webs on the ground, web spiders, but I can see the paths, and they're like hard packed, which tells me people come often enough to create these paths. Oh my goodness, I don't know if you could tell in the dappled sun, but oh my goodness, it goes way back there. Okay, these very tall headstones underneath this beautiful tree. Oh, I'm like choked up, sorry. Okay. All right, who do we have? Elizabeth Robertson. She died in 1918. And this is Johnson Covert, died in 1878. There's a little baby over here. Looks like Covert, born December 1874, aged 15 days. And somebody's left him a coin, or her. Behind these really tall headstones, the first ones that we walked past is Stacy H., wife of T.A. Turner, born in October of 1831 and died in September of 1875. And it says, our children, Joseph M.T., born in 1859 and died in 1877, and Stephen, and the rest of the engraving is below the ground. And then this one says it's for Mary E., wife of D.J.S. Herndon, died in 1880. And it says aged, but you can't see what her age is. And then back here we actually have a couple of newer markers from 1936, a military marker, and a double wide from 1936 and 1927, and they're the carpenters, which I saw a lot of carpenter names in other local cemeteries around here. Okay, so which way do I want to go? I think I'm going to kind of go over here and pulled in this direction to see these little tiny, looks like more footstones. There's initials on them. Maybe that looks like it was a wooden marker right there next to the trees. And we've got, looks like this one maybe wasn't upright and is no longer here. This is another pillar that would have had an upright that is also no longer here, and it looks like a little broken upright. There's another pillar that would have had an upright, and then I'm seeing some upright stones not on pillars leaning against this tree here. Like somebody has placed this feather. It's a very sweet way to honor nature and the cycles of life. Right, this is for Margaret Ann, wife of John Covert. I'm wondering if it's Covert. It's 2 O's, not 1. I can't see Margaret's dates. And then on this side, this may just be the lower part of that marker. And you can see that Logan marker has been knocked off its pillar. And this one looks a little bit tipped and broken. The pillar, or the upright on that marker is missing. And then see if I could get onto the other side of some of these markers. Okay, I'm just looking behind. I mean, this is the family plot. You could see there's cement surround around it. This is for, looks like maybe Frank Logan, died in 1918. Who knows what lost markers may be in all of that wilderness. We have Louisa, wife of W.H. Jones, died in 1889 here. And that might be the bottom of those pieces. Here we have someone from 1925, not so long ago. Let's go ahead and see if we can get in here and look at these ones. All right, so back there is A.R. Logan, died in 1903, and the larger upright Logan that had been knocked over is right behind us. So we have the A.R. Logan and then I think it was Frank Logan right back there. Here we have Mary Lulu, maybe? Daughter of, can't tell, maybe somebody Tier, I think, or there's a Peary right there, so maybe it's Peary. It says that she died in 1872. We have Hiram Peary, who died in 1912. The ground is very uneven and very weedy, hard to navigate around in unless you're on these harder paths. So how often I'm gonna trek through the weeds to look at things, but we'll see. This is George Odell, 1921, and Joseph Odell, 1900, and this is the Odell Cemetery. So one would assume these may be the Odells that own this property or something like that. Here's more Odells. So Sarah Odell died in 1887, and John Odell died in 1869 at 69 years old. There's some old fence pillars here, and really old fencing. Hard to probably see in the shade. I don't think I could catch it. All right, here's a Martha Odell, died in 1941, so a little newer. And John Odell in 1918. There was an upright that has been broken there, and it's hard in the dappled shade to see all these sweet little markers, but we're gonna keep walking down this path, turn around so we can see the markers. We're back to having some coverts that died in 1882, and this is Ora M., daughter of A and M.A. Covert, died in 1863 at 2 years old. Henrietta R., daughter of A and M Covert, died in 1863 at 9 years old. Oh, goodness. Here's Martha, wife of Abram Covert, died in 1903. Oh, see, this one says born November 2nd, or born November 23rd, 1822, died March 24th, 1903, pioneer of 1851. How cool is that? Let's see what her inscription maybe says, if I can read it. Blessed be the dead, which something. Oh gosh, and then it's just super hard to read. I don't know. All right, this one has a raised cross. Looks like it's a good perch for birds. There's a lot of bird poop there. Abram Covert died in 1907. His inscription says, "Precious in the sight of the Lord, the death of his saints." This one is one of those cool, like, scrolls. Love the scrolls. At rest with heavenly gates. Ida, wife of N.A. Harris, died in 1906. Okay, let's keep, there's a couple of different directions I can go again. So I'm gonna see what happens this way. And we've got a broken marker here. Looks like Harry McTeer died in 1888. And then there's a lot of erosion going down the hill, so who knows if there was any burials that way. And walk down this direction. This is kind of like a little circle. It goes around this little cusp of trees. And there's a ton of ivy here with a lot of spider webs, and I feel like I might have gotten bitten. Grr. All right, so this one is for this really big stone here. This is for Samuel Angel, died in 1856. My gosh, 38 years old. There's, looks like someone has placed these wood pieces, and then there's a trail beyond it, so I'm not sure. That's like, don't go that way. But the trail really does look like it kind of peters out and is maybe like a deer trail versus a people trail, because it becomes very, very narrow, not as well used. Maybe we'll just peek down the hill. I'm not sure. You can see there's just so much ivy growing on all of these old trees, and just, my goodness, I'm not gonna go down there. I'm wearing sandals. It's not the best place to wear sandals. Okay. Just continue on the circle and see what else there is. Okay. Another big log that's fallen. Okay. Well, this is the only headstone we missed by going around that way, so let's see what it's for. Naomi Arlene Palmer died in 1910, and they were just a few years old. And we looked all through there. This trail is pretty much just bringing us back to the chapel. All right, that is going to be the end of the tour for the Odell / Ezekiel Chapel Cemetery. A little overgrown. I have these little thorns stuck all in my skirt. It's like very pokey. So I'm just like wearing a little skirt and it's catching everything. So anyway, maybe if I would have just stuck to the trails and not tried to read some of those headstones that were in the weeds, I wouldn't have pokies in me, but anyway, it's fine. That's gonna be it for this video. There was a really interesting article that I'm gonna link in the description below. Let me know what you think about it, and if you have a graveyard or a cemetery nearby that that have cool stories. I'd love to hear about old cemetery stories, and this particular one is there's a land dispute between the neighbors and the association and all of that, and they finally made a mutual decision on who kind of maintains it. It's on the Oregon Historical Registry, so there's a little bit of like red tape, I guess, but you know, both sides claim it's theirs, and both sides kind of claim it's not theirs because they don't want to maintain it. I'm not sure. Just read the article. It's kind of just like a fun, interesting article if you're interested in cemeteries like this, and the history of the cemeteries and the modern history of the cemeteries, which is what this article is more about, because it's like what's happening with this space today. Why is this chapel here, and why does it look like it does, and how come the grounds look the way they do, etc. So I'll make sure I link that in the comments or in the description of this video. We are in Dayton, Oregon, by the way. I don't think I mentioned that earlier. And I've done a couple of other Dayton, Oregon cemeteries, so if you're interested in more of the Dayton area cemeteries, check out previous weeks. I visit a cemetery every time I go travel anywhere, so make sure that you are subscribed and you're liking these videos so that you're notified every time I post a new video, which is almost every single day, and weekly we walk around a beautiful cemetery together. I hope that you're celebrating your life today, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.